Hey, it's Theo and thank you for joining me. And today we are looking at the best decks to get to 6 wins in the pre-release Tavern Brawl. Now, if you don't know the rewards, you can see them here on the screen. And yeah, you get between 2 and 4 packs. And I've got 10 decks prepared for you. 5 of them have basically no new cards, so you can play them regardless if you pre-ordered or not. And then we have 5 decks with the quest if you get lucky enough to pack one of those quests. Now let's get started. And obviously the first deck I gotta mention is the Imbue Paladin, because yeah, if you've played this Brawl, there is a very high chance you face this deck more than a few times. Because yeah, this looks like the best deck and it has no new cards at all. So yeah, this is basically just a standard deck you can play in the Brawl. And yeah, that's why it's so good. I mean, just get those imbues right going, get those dragons, and then also just having Earls of Renewing Flames is huge because yeah, you can't really die then. And yeah, nothing in the Brawl can really stand up to it, right? Outside of another Paladin deck we'll get to in a bit. And yeah, this is just really the deck you want to play if you just want to win in the Brawl with no new cards. Just expect to face a lot of mirror matches. And then the Paladin deck that can compete with the other Paladin deck, the Imbue Paladin, is this Murloc Paladin. Yeah, I don't have the quest myself, but yeah, this is a really strong deck because yeah, once you get this quest, you basically have all the other Murlocs as well, right? There's no legendaries, because these are in the core set, so no other legendaries you need to pack. And yeah, this is just really strong, right? Lots of stats you gain with it. Because yeah, this quest is so good. You don't actually have to spend mana across the board. And yeah, the requirement for the reward, right, is play Murlocs. Is also the reward basically is playing Murlocs. And yeah, just a really strong deck in the Brawl, and like the only deck that can really compete with the Imbue Paladin. So yeah, if you get the quest for Paladin, I can definitely recommend this deck to get those 6 wins with. And then we have the quest, the Dragon Warrior deck, and as you can see, I'm also missing the legendaries here, so I can't play it. But it looks to be pretty strong, as well as you're using the Dragon package that yeah, with the last expansion, right, it didn't really pay off. But in this Brawl, it works because you're looking for, right, use Andre, and then you can, if this dies, you get the Reset with Succumb to Madness, and then a copy it with the Clutch of Corruption. And you get so many dragons on the board, it's really hard to keep up. It's almost like playing Imbue Paladin in Warrior. And then besides that, yeah, we have the quest, right? I mean, it's kind of like you play it, you forget about it, and on turn 11, you're like, oh yeah, I got the quest as well. And then we have a bunch of late game as well in this deck. We got Torchlight to survive. I mean, just generic legendaries, Fire Shield that are just good. And outside of that, yeah, just try and survive, right, for that quest and for these dragons. And then the next deck we have is the Token Druid. Now, I'll also get to a quest version in a little bit, but this one is without the quest, so it's pretty easy to achieve. Yes, there are some cards, right, like Hybridization, Hatchery Helper, you kind of want to have, especially this one is really good. But the rares are commons and they're kind of easy to get. If you get some packs from all the events you get in game or drops, you can get those packs, and you pretty easily can get a lot of these rares and commons. So that's why I've included here as a alternative, because yeah, those epics and legendaries, they can be quite hard to come by, especially if luck isn't on your side. But yeah, this one just a token Druid deck, like in the old days, right? You just have a lot of ways to get on the board with your tokens. And then, yeah, you can buff those tokens with a card like Overheat and Hatchery Helper. And once you get a board, you can really push the advantage with all those buffs and win pretty fast. And here we have the quest build of the Token Druid. And yeah, this looks somewhat similar. Oh yeah, you really want to focus on completing that quest. Again, one I don't have. But yeah, you want to fill the board 3 different turns. So it doesn't matter when you fill the board, just as long as at some point you can't play minions, it procs this quest. You have to do that 3 times, and then you get this insanely good weapon, the Everbloom. And yeah, once you get this, the game is almost over. But you have to get that, you do have to play some tokens. Again, those new cards, but you also have 3s in here, because getting 4 minions probably procs the quest. And then just a lot of cards that have tokens, like Flipper Friends, Mother Duck, and already the Sky Scream Egg. Raven the Slug we saw, and yeah, the Hatchery Helper again is just insanely good buff with all these small tokens. So definitely a good deck if you want to hit the 6 wins if you did get that quest. And then we have the first Death Knight deck, which is a Menagerie Death Knight. And yeah, this looks a little bit similar to a Standard. But of course, we can't play every card like in Standard, like no Corpsicle, no Location. So we're playing some new cards instead. Again, those cards are either commons or rares, so they shouldn't be too hard to come by. And yeah, again, no epics, no legendaries from the new set. So Shouldn't be too hard to be able to play this. Yeah, this is just your standard Menagerie deck, right? Just aggro deck. You play your early tokens, especially like the Mosquito can really snowball fast. And then, yeah, with Horn of Winter, you have a lot of mana, you get those tokens. And then you buff them with the jug. And yeah, this is kind of an underrated card, I think. Like, it's so many stats. If you have minions on board already, it can attack. It basically has charge. And a lot of decks just can't do all those stats. And yeah, once you push a bit of damage, it's pretty easy to win the game in the end with either like the Crypt Map or the Mirror Manipulator to push that last bit of damage. And the second Death Knight deck here we have is the Quest Death Knight. I got to 6 wins with this one. I went 6-2 while facing 7 Paladins. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle, but we got there in the end on stream. And it's running a few new cards. Of course, we got the Quest. I mean, I got it in Signature, so I had to play it. We've got the Wrangler again, and we have the Blob Avatar, which is from this set, so a couple of new cards. But overall, it's kind of mostly, yeah, the Blood, and Holy deck from a standard, as much as you can play those cards, of course. Got a bunch of late game here, because yeah, you can't play Kill Jaden or Marin, so you have to actually have some cards that win the game, so I added you know, Shaladosil, Avatar, Fyrak, Ursolk. So yeah, that usually was enough to win the game. And yeah, the quest, honestly, yeah, it didn't really do that much. Like for a quest reward, that took a really long to set up, because generally you need at least 1 corpse explosion to get there, and it doesn't always work, and you need time to play it. All you get is an 8/8. Like, yeah, it's really not that great. So yeah, maybe if you get the quest, you want to try it, but yeah, the quest isn't the greatest, but the deck around it is pretty good. And then the Death Knight deck you can play with no new cards. Is this Blood Death Knight. And yeah, it looks a little bit similar to what I just played, but it's a little bit different because we're playing triple Blood. So we have a different 1-drop, we got Vampiric Blood, and of course the Pyro Poison combo like we saw in Standard as well. And yeah, this is pretty similar to Standard, although again, you're missing Marin, you're missing Kill Jaden. So your late game hurts a little bit, but yeah, this deck as well has the a bunch of late game cards that can help you get there. And just like in Standard, this deck is just really good at surviving for a while. And then another deck I went 6 wins with was this Quest Priest. Zeddy also went 6 wins with it, so it's gotta be good then, right? If he gets 6 wins with this. But yeah, this one, I tried to make a quest deck with Reach Equilibrium together with like the Imbue stuff, and it kind of worked out. Also tried to play a new card like Story of Mara, and yeah, just trying to survive. You can probably try out a lot of different cards in this list. Like, for example, I didn't have the 6 mana card. Like, this one might be good, right? With the quest, just the 1 mana 4/7. Lifesteal, pretty strong. You can also maybe play an Aviana build, I've seen. Just go Aviana with the Champions of Azeroth, and then you kind of become an OTK deck in the end. So you actually have a great win con, because, yeah, relying on Imbue, it's not always the best choice if you wanna win, but it worked out for me, so that's why I've got the priest deck here. And then the last deck we have here is basically a deck that is as free to play friendly as you get. No epics, no legendaries, and the only new cards from the expansion are some commons in the Rock Skipper and the Platysaur. So yeah, if you open a few packs, you should have those cards. And this deck is really trying there to kill the paladins right before they basically get to turn 7, turn 8, before they can heal, because this deck has a lot of damage. Of course, it has like early cards like Slit Spear and the 1-drop here, just to get on board, right? Push the damage, and you have a lot of burn after that with the Cinder Sword. I mean, 1 mana deal 8. Eviscerate, the rock here, and then just a lot of tempo, right, with like a Dread Corsa with the weapon through 0. So lots of damage, really fast deck, and can be a deck that can win before Paladin really goes off. And those are the 10 decks I want to recommend for the pre-release Brawl. If you have any other tips for other players, please let them know in the comments down below. If the video was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.